Georgia Democrats managed to flip at least 7 local races across the state, including in Warner Robins, where voters elected the first woman and first Black mayor to lead the city. LaRhonda Patrick defeated incumbent mayor Randy Toms. Atlanta also has a new mayor. Andre Dickens will be the 61st mayor of Atlanta after winning Tuesday's runoff over Council President Felicia Moore, 64% to 36%. Joining me from Georgia is Fenika Miller, the Senior Georgia Manager for Black Voters Matter. Welcome, Ms. Miller.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
I want to tell you first that I talked to the big boss, Cliff Albright, and he had nothing but great things to say about you and the work that you're doing on the ground and the leadership that you are showing. So congratulations and thank you, because we all need you and the work that your organization does and the work that you do.
Thank you. Can't do it without our team.
Well, you know what, and it's a great team. I love Latasha and Cliff, but they have a gift also for organizing, absolutely, starting with organizing the best in leadership. What can you tell us? How did this happen?
The Warner Robins race is historic. We are we're still excited and riding on a high. We have a partner, a longtime partner in Warner Robins, Georgia, who's been working for the last decade in order to see this transformation happen in community. New Vision is an amazing organization that focuses on Black women and girls and teaching them how advocacy affects their lives. And so last summer, in August, they hit the streets. They delivered the Warner Robins proper for Joe Biden. They did the same thing again and flipped that city blue for the 2 Senate races. Then they showed out again in March and delivered a special election at large city council seat. And they hit the ground again in August of this year to get voters to the polls one more time in spite of SB 202. And these are the results that we find ourselves in. In fact, turnout for the runoff election last night was double what it was in the general and in 2017 for the runoff. So that partner, we're so happy to support them and do this great work with them.
So what do you find is most critical when you're saying that they're hitting the ground? Is it the pure numbers of people who are there and able to mobilize, or is it the messaging? Because what I'm wondering is what's the magic formula for what needs to be said for people to understand, yes, your vote does matter. Yes, every vote does matter, and turn that into actually showing up on Election Day.
It is reaffirming that Black voters matter. It is taking the time to have conversations with our community, right? And to have real conversations with our community. It is letting folks know that this work is 365 days a year, that the hard work begins on the day after election. So after the presidential election last year, they didn't stop. After the Senate election, they didn't stop. They kept engaging their communities, kept leaning into their power to build coalitions of broad voters and to engage folks in conversations. This partner and our partners all across the state of Georgia, we have over 130 partners in 75 counties. They attended the first convening, a statewide convening, where each of them who had elections in their communities learned how to craft a field plan for their community. And they worked those field plans, and we experienced results unmatched during the general municipal. And last night, our partners across the state were 12 for 12. Not only elected Ms. Patrick, but electing 3 other first-time Black mayors across the South and picked up 12 additional seats.
And what are your thoughts about the outlook for the governor's race?
Well, we're going to focus on Black voters again. We're going to talk to our people. We're going to talk to them about the issues, make sure that we're connecting the dots, and we hope that that resonates. Again, we are so grateful to see Leader Abrams toss her hat into the ring again, but we don't coordinate with candidates. We don't work on behalf of candidates. We work on behalf of the millions of Black voters across the state of Georgia on their bread and butter issues. Because at the end of the day, we have to hold all of these elected officials accountable to making sure that they deliver results so that everybody can have a good quality of life.
Well, I am just appreciative, and all I can think is multiply, multiply, multiply. I pray that what is being successful in Georgia will become successful, because Lord knows we need it, looking at the way the news is going and the things that people are trying to do to keep us from our fundamental right of voting. I'm going to turn to the panel. First, we have someone from Georgia on the panel. And Pastor May, do you have a question for Ms. Miller?
Well, yeah, Ms. Miller, first of all, let me say thank you for the work of your organization and what you're doing around the state. Look, so excited to hear about what is going on around the state of Georgia outside of the metro Atlanta area, which is great as well. You know, last night we had a city of Atlanta mayor's race, and I was excited about the results because my candidate won. What I wasn't excited about was the voter turnout, both in the general election in November and on last night. It just seems to me that the voter excitement is not as high as it should be. What can y'all continue to do throughout the state to gin up that excitement, you know, in preparation for these for the larger elections that will be coming up next year and beyond?
Yeah, excellent question. Historically, turnout in municipal races is lower than it is in midterms and in presidential, because there's just not the same level of investment. The top of the ticket drains all the resources and all of the money. And then folks go home and they forget about the municipals. But this year, municipal turnout was actually higher than it was in 2017 across the state. It still looks like a small fraction, but Black voters and people of color made up about 41% of the turnout in municipals across the state. Down in Brunswick, Georgia, they doubled by 100% their turnout in municipal races this cycle. Again, in Warner Robins last night, there were about 6,700 voters who voted in a runoff election in 2017, and it was 8,800 last night. So the more that we talk to folks, the more that we focus on community organizing and lean into the issues and the importance of running in every election, then that's how our folks are going to stay engaged. That's how we're going to continue to win all across the state of Georgia.
Attorney Manning, do you have a question for Fenika?
I do, and first I want to congratulate you again on the amazing results. My question is just how can you replicate those same results or the same approach in other places like Texas, where I live, where, you know, we need that kind of institutional support and that kind of strategic planning to yield the same results. So what suggestions do you have for how we can replicate that where we are?
Well, fortunately for Texas, we have an amazing state organizing manager in Texas as well. And so we know that our sister will be planning and strategizing and seeing how we can do the same thing. It just takes hard work, and it is grueling work, right? And making sure that our partners across each one of these states stays focused on the end goal and stays focused on, you know, the prize. And so we'll get that strategy together. We'll see wins in Texas. One thing that I know, in spite of all voter suppression tactics, in spite of the barriers that folks have put in place, in spite of redistricting efforts, you cannot suppress a people who are familiar with oppression, right? We're going to win every time.
Attorney Bolden.
Yeah, hey, congratulations last night. But I will say this, you know, the Democratic Party at the national level isn't being very helpful right now. As I travel the country, there's a large amount of voter discontent with the Biden-Harris ticket, the fact that Black people put them in the majority in the Senate and the House and the White House, and yet voting rights has not been a priority, or at least they haven't been able to get it done. That's got to be a pretty strong headwind, notwithstanding having Senator Warnock as well as Stacey Abrams on the ticket next year, in being able to replicate that Black voter turnout. What we're hearing in Washington is that's going to be tough because Democratic voters simply aren't happy that their issues, criminal justice reform and the Voting Rights Act, simply haven't been made a priority by this administration. How do you respond to those concerns of here in Washington?
Uh-oh. My light went out. There we go. Yeah, no, I am a Black voter myself, right? And I echo those concerns. I have aligned myself with the Democratic Party, you know, for many years before I transitioned to this space. place. And what I'll tell folks that sometimes we just don't trust the system. We told folks last year that if they get out and they vote in record numbers that we were going to get this. And we did. Our votes did deliver. Our votes delivered, COVID relief. It delivered ARP funds. I call it the Biden bag, right? So we still have to just continue to have those conversations with our voters, but not focus so much on the federal and continue to focus on the local elections. That's our sweet spot. We know that we need federal protection of our voting rights, but we know that help may not come. Right. And so if it doesn't come, what we can do is continue to flip these mayoral seats, flip a school board seat, flip a county commission seat in those down ballot races. That's the sweet spot. And those are the races that are going to impact our communities and Black voters the most.
Yeah. Good luck. And it'd still be nice to get some federal help, though.
It would. We agree.
Well, Ms. Miller, thank you so much for everything that you're doing. All politics is local after all, so we want to back you up any way we can. Tell us how we can help support Black Voters Matter Fund and the work that you're doing.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. You can visit our website at www.blackvotersmatterfund.org. You can donate, you can stay connected, sign up for our newsletter, follow us on social media at blackvotersmatter.org and Black Voters Matter on all social media platforms.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Have a great night.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Unfiltered video in just one moment. Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay Black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?